How y'all doing today?
Great. Thanks for joining us today, Coach. Michigan State preparing to take on Maryland this Saturday at noon in College Park. Join with us is head coach Mel Tucker. Coach, if you would like to have some opening comments, and we'll take questions.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks, Ben. Yeah, I really, again, wanted to thank our medical staff and personnel. They have done a great job of helping to keep us safe and giving us the ability to continue to practice and play. Sally, Nogel, Dr. Kovan, and the entire medical staff has done an outstanding job in these very tough times, and so really appreciate and wanted to acknowledge them. And like as I said last week, we have to give ourselves a better chance to win. Turnovers, penalties, and field position. Those things just are very, very obvious that, if you take care of the ball, you're penalty free, and you win the field position battle, you give yourself a much better chance to win. And the games that we've lost, we haven't done that. So the focus this week is going to be on playing complementary football. That's offense, defense, and special teams working together. And along with that, that's taking care of the football on offense and taking the ball away on defense. Winning the field position battle. Being effective on special teams. And it really comes down to execution. We did something different yesterday. We watched the continuous copy of the game, the first half of the game, as an entire football team. The guys that traveled, and usually when you watch the game, you watch it, offense and defense and special teams separately, and I've done that. I've done that before, and it gives everyone a better perspective, and it allows the guys on the other side of the ball to see what's really happening and see how everyone fits in to how the pieces to the puzzle fit, and how you need to play complementary football, and how one side of the ball affects another side of the ball, and also shows everyone how actually close we are to being able to make a play. And so in that regard, it's gives the guys better perspective, and everyone can see what everyone is doing or not doing. And it may sound crazy, but it actually shows you how close you are to, how really close you are to being able to have success on the field on a consistent basis. So the team continues to push. We had a good practice yesterday. Attitudes are good. We're dealing in the truth. So everyone knows what the deal is, and we're continuing to evaluate and work to get better. And so thank God that we still have another opportunity to play and practice, so we can to build to be the type of team that we know that we can be. I really appreciate you guys coming out today on these Zoom deals. I know it can be a little fatiguing at times, but I really appreciate you guys covering our team and carrying the message out, to our fans. But we certainly understand that there's a standard of performance that we have not lived up to on a consistent basis, and we're working hard to get to that. Our fans deserve that. So, and we owe it to ourselves to give ourselves the best chance as well. So with that, I'll open up to questions.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Justin Rose at WXYZ in Detroit.
Hey, good afternoon, Mel. Have you definitely heard you guys are playing Maryland? What's the status with that team at this particular point in time? And if for whatever reason they wouldn't be able to play this weekend, would you guys look to play someone else?
From all indications that everything I've been told, they're trying to play, and so we're preparing to play. and I know that they want to play. You know, I talked to Locks this morning for a long time. We had a good talk. I know they want to play, and so we're preparing to play.
Okay, just to follow that up, I know you said that the consistency hasn't been where you would have liked it to be, but at the same time, with all the factors that come into play, you know, COVID shutting down spring, summer was restricted, fall's been up and down as well. Is this job maybe up to the standard of like how difficult it was going to be with all those factors, or is there anything that caught you by surprise 5 weeks into the season?
No, I haven't really been caught by surprise because, you know, I've been in the first year of a program, you know, even going back to being a player in high school, I think maybe 9 times. And so I pretty much know what to expect in year one. And then once we were hit with COVID, then I knew immediately what the challenges were going to be. And so, you know, there hasn't been any real surprises there. They're just you know, they're just challenges, and you know, that we have to adjust and we have to adapt, and you know, we have to do what we can do within the parameters and the protocols and all that stuff that we have. And I really you know, don't believe in really making excuses or you know, or for things. I just can't go there for whatever reason. That's just me. I just don't do it. I mean, we have the ability in my mind to be able to play better football. We take care of the ball. We eliminate foolish penalties. We win the field position battle, and we, you know, continue to work on our technique and fundamentals and play more physically. Then I believe that we can have success. And that's with all of the COVID and the no spring ball, no off-season conditioning program, you know, guys banged up, not in the, you know, guys, you know, playing young guys, all that. With all that being said, I still expect us to play better.
Our next question goes to Matt Charbonneau of the Detroit News.
Mel, I was wondering where you, after you're able to review the game film, where you see that, how both quarterbacks played, how you analyze it after that. And then is this a week where you could see that competition continuing? Could you see making a change there heading into Maryland?
Yeah, I mean, it was a mixed bag with both quarterbacks, and so you know, we're gonna go through the week. It's really early in the week. We haven't even put the pads on yet. We'll do that later on today, and you know, we'll see how it goes. You know, there's nothing set in stone on this team, so you know, every position is an evaluation every day. Practice, you know, I watch every bit of practice tape. You know, I watch the walk-ons. You know, we watch everyone. We're evaluating everyone, and we're gonna go with who we think gives us the best chance to win. But you know, we'll see how the week goes. You know, that's how we're approaching it. And Rocky and Peyton, you know, we've communicated what they've been communicated with. So, you know, there's no gray. You know, we know how we're gonna go about this week.
And just real follow-up quickly, is that a tougher call to make when you got a guy like Rocky who's been around and is really respected as a leader in the room? Is it tougher to make that call if you feel like you need to, or does that not really factor into it?
No, I mean, all of the calls that we make in terms of who starts games, you know, they're all important, you know, and we don't take them lightly, and especially at that position. So. But you know, obviously, you know, we'll make a decision and we'll go. I mean, that's you know, that's the nature of what we're doing. You know, we have to make decisions based upon the information that we have, and that's really, you know, it's a combination of, you know, practice and like you talked about, you know, leadership and confidence and, you know, just performance and things like that in the film room, and you know how the week is going. So. You know, we meet every day and we watch all the film and we talk, we communicate. So, you know, we'll make a decision, then we'll go.
Next question goes to Matt Wenzel with M Live.
Hey, Mel, obviously the first 2 weeks, I think 27 points each game, only 7 the last 2 games combined. And you talk about obviously the turnovers stand out, but is there any point now where you're a month into the season where you can maybe switch up things, what you're doing offensively, like you said on Saturday, as far as evaluating everything, and then, being maybe, installing more as you get into the season and try and tweak that a little bit?
Yeah, it's we're always, every game we look and we have to evaluate what our opponent, what they do defensively, and then we put together a game plan that we think gives us the best chance to take advantage of what they do. And so we're going to continue to do that. When we look at the tape and we know what the play is and we know what the assignments are, and we see the execution of a play or the lack of execution, like it's obvious to us that there's plays out there to be made, and we don't have a lot of margin for error. So if one guy doesn't do what he's supposed to do, we usually don't have a successful play. But even in this against Indiana, I mean, our players could see it. We could see it. We knew it during the game. It's like there's plays out there, and we just have to execute those plays. There's not a scheme issue. It's an execution issue. And being able to read the play out, make the play, or make the blocking assignment, or just basically just get the job done on a consistent basis. So I feel good about our game planning. We're really going to be focused on execution, cutting down on the mental errors, and that will give us more consistency. And then obviously taking care of the football. You'd be shocked as when you watch the coach's copy of some of the plays that are out there that we left on the field. Not to take any credit away from Indiana, they have a really good football team, but at the same time, when we execute, we're able to make plays, and that's been against anybody we played. Even the first drive of the second half of the Iowa game, we drive out on the field and score. It's all about execution. We're just not consistent.
And Jaden's a guy that we heard about for more than a year, dating back to the previous staff and from players talking about what he did in practice. He obviously gives you a weapon on offense. What have you seen from him through a month?
Jaden Reed?
Yes.
Yeah, Jaden's a good player. Yeah, and he's young and he's learning. He practices hard. He plays with toughness. He's a consistent performer. Like, what you're going to get from him, day in and day out in terms of his effort and how he goes about, his practice and things like that. So, he's certainly a guy that we look to get the ball to, because the key to it is, finding ways to get the ball to your playmakers. And our wide receiving crew is a crew that is a group that have shown that it can make plays. And so, but I like him. I like him as a player. I like being around him. I like coaching him. I like him as a he's a good team guy. I'm glad we got him. I'm really excited about like what he can become. How much, as he continues to develop as a player, who knows how good he can be.
Thanks, Mel.
Next question goes to Lindsey Huddleston.
Hello, Mel. I know you are laser focused on Maryland right now, but considering we're halfway through your first year this season, and there's talk of transfer portal and things like that, and you use terms like dealing in truth, what message can you give to the fans about the future talent transition that the Mel Tucker era is going to start to experience? Yeah,
that's a great question. Because we're battling and building at the same time. It's battle and build. So as we're developing the team that we have, we're also recruiting, every single day to bring in players that we feel like can help us be successful, on and off the field. So, we're doing that. And then obviously the portal is part of college football. You got the got the high school kids, and then you got the undergrad portal guys, you got the grad transfers, you have junior college guys. And so, you know, we look everywhere for players that we believe are a good fit for us. And we look to acquire those players. And at the same time, when you evaluate your current team, you know, ultimately you're deciding who's a good fit on this team. You know, who has the traits and the characteristics, you know, talent, you know, the toughness, mental and physical toughness, you know, the attention to detail, sense of urgency, love of the game, you know, who has those traits, those characteristics that you need to have on your team to be successful. And so, you know, ultimately, you know, there's transition, not only acquiring guys to the team, but there's also guys that, you know, ultimately, you know, may transition out, just because of, you know, there's a certain type of culture and certain type of player that we need to have here. And, you know, that's really non-negotiable. So, you know, everything's an evaluation, and halfway through the season, you know, right at this point, we have a pretty good idea of you know, who can do what. And so, yeah, obviously, you know, you can anticipate seeing some movement on our roster, whether it's you know, portal related or otherwise.
Okay, and as a very quick follow-up, does that mean non-traditional Michigan State type players may have an opportunity to play here, or it will just be something that we've seen before?
If you could just give me a little more clarification on that.
Yes, in my role, I'm in touch with a lot of young people, and people either say we've heard from a school like a Michigan State or Michigan, or we haven't even heard from them, but they may be very talented. So, I mean, are you turning over every stone, or is it going to be pretty much same places and regions as before?
No. We turn over every stone. We cast a broader net. It's a lot more work to do it that way, but we cast a broader net. Like if you want to sign 25 guys, it's typically an 8-to-1 ratio on offers. Like you got to offer 200 guys. You know, we're always well over 300 offers per class. And so, you know, it could be West Coast, East Coast. We go down to the South. Obviously, we want to start here in our state. We're fighting for the hearts and the minds of our high school coaches and our in-state prospects as well, just to show them that, you know, what the difference is now, what, you know, how we do things and compared to the past. And so, and anyone that has a player, you know, that we evaluate those players and try to get back to those high school coaches or anyone as fast as we can. And we're always on the phone, you know, just looking for anyone that we think might have a chance, and we get the film evaluated. And so we're looking everywhere for guys every day, actually.
Every day. All right. Thank you for that, Coach. Have a good day.
Yep. You too. Thanks.
Next question goes to Rico Beard with 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit.
Hey, Coach, you spoke about the quarterbacks earlier in this press conference, and, you know, 7 points in the last 2 games. Are you pretty much going to work this out and figure this out with Rocky and Peyton Thorne, or will there be opportunities for Theo Day and Noah Kim to maybe get some action?
Yeah, that's a possibility, you know, because, you know, it's those guys take reps in practice too, you know, so that there's certainly possibilities for guys to step in there. I mean, you see guys at other positions that are getting opportunities to play, you know, guys that are showing up. I mean, like you see Jello Gross out there playing the nickel spot. He's a true freshman. You saw Davion Williams out there. You see the emergence of Jalen Hunt. You know, we're seeing guys playing different positions. We're seeing, you know, freshman receivers that are getting opportunities to play. There's guys, you know, tight ends that are playing like Tyler Hunt and guys like that. that are, getting opportunities to play. You see guys on special teams that are starting to show up. And so Petrowski was in the game last week and did a good job in a couple plays he was in. So, he may have he earned some more reps and things like that. So, it's nothing set in stone. I mean, it's compete and show us what you can do and earn your spot. Earn your playing time. Earn your right to be able to even stay on the team. Because this is not like a recreational type of situation. This is compete to play, compete to stay.
Thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to Kellen Buddy with WILX.
Hey, Coach, going back to Justin's questions at the beginning, is there any concern if this game still goes on with the COVID scare at Maryland? Is there any concern with your team going down there that there could be a bit of a lack of control of the virus and that, it might spread a little more when you guys are down there?
Yeah, I don't have that type of concern because of our medical, protocols and what the Big Ten has done, overall. And we're tested we do antigen tests 6 days a week. We've been doing that since I think September 30th. And so, myself and our medical staff and our doctors and everything, we're not going to put ourselves in a situation that we think is unsafe. So if in fact we're able to play and we travel and we go there, that means that we feel like we're going into a safe environment. So right now we are preparing to play. I mean, like, there's not even crossing my mind that we're not going to play. We're not even thinking about that. We're watching the tape, meeting, installing, getting ready to practice in a couple hours and we're ready, getting ready to go. It's no different than any other week for us.
Thanks, Coach.
To Jennifer Hammond with Fox 2 in Detroit.
Hey, Coach, nice to see you. Hope you and your family are doing okay during all this craziness.
Thank you. We're doing well. Thank you.
Good. So what I'm really curious to know is when you're in a program and you guys obviously greater than where the record is right now, how do you sell to them what there is to play for and to get young kids motivated, especially in such a crazy time, with not even knowing perhaps if certainty and craziness going on and where the record is? How do you sell to them? We've got a lot to play for and it's important.
Yeah, you were cutting in and out a little bit, but I think I got the gist of it. And so, it's with this group of guys, that's not hard to do. Like I said, the first day I got here, if you love football, I probably like you. And, guys that love football, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter the circumstance, they just want to play. And so, that's the type of group that we have. Like I said earlier, they continue to work hard. These guys will not quit. And they're engaged, and they know that there's room to get better, and they can. When you show them the tape of a game or a practice, and you say, "Okay, listen, this is what you were supposed to do. If you would do that, then you see what success you should have or we should have," and it's right there. It's just plain as day. And so if a player believes that he can actually do that, then I don't see why he wouldn't be motivated to come to practice and work on that and be ready to have an opportunity on Saturday to show that he can do it in a game on a consistent basis. So, motivating guys that are not motivated. If there's guys that are not motivated, someone asked me last week after the game, how do you keep the attention? If I've got if I can't, if there's an attention issue or you're not motivated, then you're not going to be even at practice. You're not going to be in the game. You're not even traveling. Like, you're not going to be on the team, because it's not about having to talk you into playing or motivate you to play and things like that. That's not what this is. That's not even part of it. Guys that are here want to play, they want to practice. We're going to go out, we're going to put the pads on today. We're going to put the pads on tomorrow. We're going to go out there, we're going to play. We're going to work on our physicality, our pad level, our hands, our fundamentals, and guys are going to give effort. And if they don't give effort and they don't want to be, then they're going to be excused. They're going to be removed. We don't have time for that. This is Big Ten football. I mean, you're here for a reason to play. It's just not an optional situation. It's a requirement that you go out there and you give great effort to get better. If you're not out there to get better, you're not out there to compete and be the best, then you're wasting time. So why waste time? Just cut bait. But I'm not saying that. But they know that. I mean, they know that, and we talk about it. You step in here, come here ready to work and get better. If you're not ready to do that, then this is not for you, because this is not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Thank you very much.
Our next question goes to Audrey Dahlgren with WLNS.
Hi, Mel. I was just wondering, going back to the attitude and dealing in the truth a little bit, what are those conversations like at practice as you approach week 5 with a 1-3 record? Is it obviously, you need to work harder? I mean, just what are those truth conversations that you're speaking to?
Right. The record doesn't matter. It's a new week. It's all about, what do we have to do today to get better? And then you hone in on that. Specifically what you talk to the players, what technique, or is it a better understanding of the scheme, note taking. We talk to guys about rest and recovery, sleep, what are you doing in the weight room? All those types of things, mental toughness, pushing through, bumps and bruises, all those types of things. Those are the types of conversations, and then watching the film and showing them when they do it right. I mean, guys like to see themselves improve, because that's what it's all about. So, it's just, you're not trying to trick guys. I mean, that's the one thing that I do know, and I've learned over the years, and I've always known this: you cannot fool players, college or pro players. You can't fool them. You can't trick them. There's no, you can't sprinkle magic dust on them, whatever. You just gotta tell them, hey, this is what it is, and show them a pathway to get better. And as long as the players know that you know what you're doing and you're telling them the right thing, they'll listen to you. And then if they put the work in and you're putting the work in with them, they're putting the work in, then they improve. And if they have the ability to do it, some guys can't do it, and then you find that out too. But I look for. Maybe I'm a little crazy, but I actually like trying to figure things out and trying to find a way to get better when it's tough, and everything's hitting the fan. I like kind of hunkering down and digging in with my guys and kind of circling the wagon and just focusing on getting better and practicing and blocking everything else out. I really enjoy that, because once you start to turn the corner, and you see the improvement as a team, there's no better feeling than that. There's a lot of gratification. That is a sense of accomplishment. So we're not focused on our record. We're focused on our next opponent and getting better.
Thank you.
We have time for a few more questions before players join us after coach. We'll go to Chris Solari, the Detroit Free Press.
Mel, good to see you. I kind of wanted to touch base with you on a couple things. One, we saw Jalen Hunt go off with an injury. Is that a long-term situation with him? And are there any other long-term injuries that you have right now?
Yeah, I saw him. I saw him go off as well. I was out there with him, and then he was able to practice yesterday.
And any other long-term issues injury-wise?
Yeah, we've got some guys that it's taking a while for them to get back. But we're going to go with the guys that are available. The guys that are out are working hard to get back as soon as they can. They do a great job in the training room. We check. We meet with Sally every morning at 9:30, and she gives us a report, and we know what guys are doing, what their plans are, what modifications we need to make in the weight room for them, and working hard, to get them back. But some guys, depending on their situation, can get back sooner than others.
And as a follow, we know two guys with Jordan Reed and with Justin Stevens opted out. Have there been any other players who have opted out for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I believe Khalifa opted out, and then we had just recently we had a couple of freshmen that have opted out. Yeah, for COVID related reasons, and so we're supporting them. And obviously, like it goes back to what we talked about months ago. Everybody's got to make a decision, and we're supporting our players on decisions that they make relative to COVID.
Thanks, Mel.
Yep.
Our next question goes to Nick Baumgartner with The Athletic.
Hey, Mel, thanks for doing this. You said something earlier that kind of caught my ear. 9 different times you've been in the year one of a football program, whether it's a player or coach. That feels like a pretty high number for a guy who isn't very old. I'm curious, what is the thing that maybe, I know they're all different, but what is the piece of the year one process that takes the most time on task, I suppose, to get together?
That's a great question. Culture is the number one thing. It's the main thing. It's you hammering the culture, whether you need to change the culture or shift the culture. It's about how we want to go about, how we want to go about our business on a day-to-day basis. You set the expectations, set the standards, whether they're in the weight room, in the classroom, on the field, all those things. Culture is the number one thing, could be, because that's the foundation upon which you build your program on. There's a set of standards and a way of doing things, and you recruit to that. You hold guys accountable to that, and you hammer it every day. And that's and you have to be relentless with that, because that's changing behavior, and habits and things like that. That's not something that happens overnight, especially with a large number of players, when you're dealing with like over 100 players, and then support staff around them, and all that's the number one thing is the culture.
Thanks, Mel.
Yeah.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go to Jim Comparoni with Spartan Magazine.
Hey, Mel, thanks for taking the call, the question. I appreciate it. Hey, can you expand a little bit on some of the building blocks you've seen in terms of personnel, young players that have come to the forefront a little bit? It looks like in the defensive line, there's some young players that are making players on a consistent basis. Can you expand on the progress they're making?
Yeah, we have some stoutness in our interior defensive line. Some guys are starting to come around, which is really good to see. It's very gratifying, and it's motivating to them and to the staff. Jalen Hunt, for example, is a kid that's made some strides. I saw, Mallory is looking for consistency, but I thought that he made some strides in this last game, and so along with with Naquan, and then and Slade, and then Maverick, is in the mix. That's you got 4 or 5 guys that you can roll in there, and play stout, football in the interior part of the line there. So, that's certainly a bright spot, and that's very encouraging. And so, those guys, looking to build depth and have as many guys to play in the trenches, offense and defense, offensive line, defense line is critically important. And then also recruiting big people that can move people, that's that's a big part of the process,
All right, thanks for your time.
Yep, you got it.
We have time for two more before the players will join the call. We'll go to Rico Cooney with Spartan Magazine.
Good afternoon, Coach. Hey, can you talk a little bit about Michael Dowell's progression? Watching him, it seems that he's gotten better and better every week and has become a real asset to your to not only the secondary but the defense. Can you just talk a little bit about his progression and how he's become or trying to make himself a player that you have to have out on the field?
Yeah, I like Mike. I like his approach. He can play multiple positions, and so and as he's learning more about the scheme and where he fits, and he's improving, and so he's a guy that I think is going to continue to improve because he's going to put the work in, and like his care factor is really high, so and when he doesn't make plays or when he doesn't play well, it really, really bothers him, which is the way it should be. So I'm not surprised that you've noticed that he's improved and he's really worked really hard at his game, and I think he's a good team guy. It's not just he wants to play well for himself, but he wants to play well for our team. So we're going to continue to work with him. That's why I keep mentioning our medical staff and all the protocols and what we're able to do in our behavior modification and that we hammer every day. It allows us to continue to practice and then play. And if we can't practice and we can't play, we can't get better, And so he's taking advantage of these opportunities to make himself a better player, and we're helping him with that.
Just as a quick follow-up, you said different positions. How many different positions have you had him at as far as, I guess, down in the box or back in coverage?
Yeah. He can play the nickel position. He can play strong. He can play free. He doesn't play corner.
Thank you.
Our last question for Coach Tucker goes to Stephen Brooks with 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Mel, good to see you. Going off that a little bit, the nickel position is new for these guys that have come back, obviously, with this scheme that you guys have put in. Could you just sort of break down that position to its core in terms of what you were looking at and an ideal fit there? Obviously got a lot of different responsibilities, and we've seen a lot of different players, skill sets, body types play there already. What goes into that position, and what's sort of the prototype, I guess?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if there's a prototype. That's an important position. I'm used to being in nickel and dime, actually having 6 DBs on the field quite a bit, because that gives you the ability to match up and play multiple coverages and be able to match personnel and play man coverage when you need to and things like that. So but that position is very involved because it has linebacker qualities to it, in terms of run fits and things like that, and setting the edge on the perimeter. And it also has you have to be able to cover man to man. You have to be able to drop zone. Sometimes in some schemes you can even be in a deep part of the field, and then you're called upon to blitz, at times, and then you have to be very adjustable, to shifts and motions and different types of alignments. And so, there's a lot of work that goes into getting guys in a position where they can play that. And you need to have at least 3 guys that can do that because of injuries and things like that. And then at some point, we may even be able to evolve to some type of dime package where you can get, more guys on the field, more speed on the field. And some of these passing situations will be able to match up when people put more receivers in the game, And also, the nickel spot is critically important because, sometimes you don't have an opportunity to match personnel and sub because of the speed of the game or whatever. And sometimes you may have a defensive back that's actually really literally playing a linebacker position out there against some of these 2 tight end, 2 receiver sets, and it's got to be stout and it's got to hold up. So that's a very valuable position. And you get guys that can play that spot, multiple guys that can play that spot. That's like gold. And everyone in the NFL is looking for guys that can play in there because it's hard to find guys that can do that at a high level.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep, you got it.
That's all the time we have for questions, Coach. We really appreciate the time today. We'll have players shortly, but thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate everything you're doing. I'm pretty sure I'm pulling that we can get this game in, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend. So stay safe. Go green.
Thanks, Coach. Your kindness is
Mel.
appreciated.
Thanks, Mel.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Jaden Reed will be joining us momentarily. He's got about 10 minutes. And then Michael Dowell, scheduled around 1:15. I'll see if he can get on a little bit earlier, but that's the tentative schedule I have for right now. Jaden's actually going to be a couple minutes here in a few minutes.